Hey everybody, this is Steve J. Klein back again with another coin video. And today I'm going to be covering the top 10 most controversial coins that have been minted. A lot of them were legal tender whenever they were first minted, and a lot of them I tried to leave out tokens or medallions, and I tried to just find coins that were either legal tender or were circulated or even non-circulated, but is still worth a value in the country at the time that it was created. So hopefully you do enjoy this video. I will let you know, so I only have with me today the number 10 coin and the number 1 coin. The rest of the coins, a lot of them are really valuable, so unfortunately I just don't have them. But what I did is I took some pictures off the internet and I printed them out here so that way we can take a look at them together here all at once. So without further ado, let's jump right into it and start with number 10. So coming in at number 10, and I've done a review video for this coin before, is the 1909 VDB, or you could even say the 1909 SVDB, which I don't have with me, but I do have the 1909 VDB here. And you'll see that on the back, if you look at the very bottom of the coin, let's see if we can see it in the light here. You'll see there's some initials right by where my finger's at. Right there at the very bottom of the coin has a VDB on that. So the reason why this coin was a little controversial, it came from the person that is VDB. His name is Victor, if I'm not mistaken, Victor David Brenner. And the reason why it was so controversial is he was the one that had created basically this coin, or the drawings for this coin. And he essentially, he just wanted his initials on there. Once the coin actually came out, there were people that did not get chosen to design the coin that were a little upset about that. So they caused a little bit of a stir in the public and were telling people, stop the mint, stop the mint. And so there was only a few different coins that were made in 1909. It's the only year that has the VDB on the back that stopped the mint. And so it was controversial at the time. You know, now it's just a valuable coin because there was not a lot of these pennies that had the VDB initials on the back. But, you know, it's a really cool coin to have. I really do like having this one, but definitely had a little bit of controversy back in the day. All right, so coming in at number 9, we have the 1948 Franklin half dollar. And you wouldn't think that this coin was actually controversial, but the reason being why this had two actually different things that was going on at the time of 1948. Obviously, this is a few years after the end of World War II. And one thing that the people that were designing this coin or approving this coin that they didn't like was the fact that they had a crack in the bell here. They wanted, you know, America to look strong and independent, and just having a crack in the coin, they just didn't like that. But in the final design, it did get approved. The second thing that also is a little interesting with this coin that caused a little bit of controversy, I'm going to see if I can zoom in just a tiny bit here. You'll see at the bottom of the I guess you could say his collar or the shirt here, there's some initials that's there. You may not be able to see those what those initials are, but it says JRS, which again was initials for the person that was designing the coin. And it was a little controversial because whenever this coin was coming out and when it was sent out to the public, they received a lot of letters saying that they thought that that was a tribute to Joseph Stalin, even though, you know, Joseph Stalin, he didn't have an R for middle name, but nobody could really look that up on the internet at the time, so they didn't know what his middle name was. But they thought that was just kind of like a hidden conspiracy, that was a tribute to Joseph Stalin. And so that's another interesting fact for the day also. All right, number 8, we have Vladimir Lenin of Russia. He was a little bit of a controversial figure. A lot of people in Russia say that he was a good leader, but a bad person. And, you know, you can go and do as much history and research as you'd like on Vladimir Lenin. He did a lot of different things to shape Russia. But essentially, you know, he was a big leader there. He's been controversial, definitely, to historians. And then another controversial thing about this coin, too, is the fact that it has the hammer and the sickle. that's there on the back of the coin. So this is the 1971 ruble. Just a little bit of controversy with just those two things there. All right, coming in at number 7, we have the 1925 half dollar. So this has controversy actually more today than it had back in the day, just because this was a tribute coin to the Confederacy, which had happened, about 50 years earlier. So you'll see here it actually has Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson on the front of the coin. Then on the back it says Memorial to the Valor of the Soldier of the South. And so, it's all a tribute to the Confederacy. There's a lot of people that are calling it a racist coin now because it was from the Confederacy. And so that's just, a little bit of controversy for this coin. Number 6, we have the 1916 Standing Liberty Quarter. And this one, the only reason why it is a little controversial here is just for the fact that it is showing some cleavage. You'll see that the dress or the shawl or whatever this Lady Liberty here is, has around her, it's kind of draped down so you can kind of see a breast there. So whenever this came out, there were a lot of people that were offended by that and just saying, this is not appropriate for having, coins at home for kids. So something a little bit interesting just with history there too. All right, so next we have the 1984 10, and I may say this wrong, but Agorot. And this is actually an Israeli coin. And the reason why it caused such a controversy is one of the leaders of Palestine at the time that this coin came out, or a few years after the coin came out, is in 1990 actually, when the controversy was raised. The person that was in charge in Palestine, his name was Yasser Arafat. And he pointed out that this coin, he thought that this piece of land here was basically a part of Israel and Palestine, and that this is kind of a symbol showing that the Israelis are planning to expand and conquer basically Palestine and a lot of other places, all related to Zionism, or in other words, the expansion of Judaism, or everything towards that. That conflict is still happening today, but essentially he was just saying there, he brought up in a Security Council meeting that he thought that this is representing the expansion of Zionism, and he was not very happy with that, along with the Palestinian people at the time. So it caused a big controversy, but hasn't really been talked about ever since. All right, so I think we're on number 4 here. I did have to include Stalin and just his representation here for this coin. So this is a 1949 50 korun. And he did have his own coin here. This is kind of a commemorative coin, but it was in kind of circulation, non-circulation status whenever it came out. But yeah, as I mentioned, it's a commemorative coin for Stalin, and just as simple as that, he's definitely a controversial figure in history. There's actually still some Russians today that liked what Stalin did. A lot of Russians, with the USSR, they want to distance themselves from the USSR as much as possible. So that is that one too. All right, number 3, we have the 1 Azadi, or the Bahar Azadi coin. And I couldn't get an exact date for this coin. I think it came out in the 1980s or 1990s, maybe even late 1970s. But this figure here, he was a leader in, I'll have to remember in just a second here, his name's Ruhollah Khomeini. And he was the leader of the Iranian people at the time. And he was just a very controversial figure, just because there was a lot of scandals that was happening during his time. There was a lot of murder that was happening. He was just not a very happy guy in the country there. He was causing a lot of different deaths. And so, there was just a lot of things going on there. There was bombings, just a lot of, as I mentioned, just big scandals that were, led to a lot of death in Iran. So that is number 3. I think this coin is actually interesting because they made this a gold coin, which I'll talk about in just the next one too. So coming in number 2, we have the 1975 Uganda £1. And the reason why this one is also controversial is because this figure here, his name is Idi Amin. And if you look at different, I guess you could say websites, or you look at different places that rank people based on how evil they were and or I guess the top 10 most evil figures, he will usually be listed in the top 10. He's just he was not a very good dude with Uganda. Same kind of thing with Ruhola. He caused a lot of death in his country. There was a lot of war going on, and a lot of people just blame him for that. And so there was just a lot that was happening in his country also. And so we're about to go over number 1 here, but I do want to have one honorable mention to the 1794 flowing hair dollar. So this coin, the reason why it caused a little bit of controversy is just when it was coming out, some of I think it was the founding fathers or people that were reviewing this coin were saying that the eagle on here just does not look majestic. They wanted America to represent, just majestic, independent place. And they just thought that this eagle looks a little, not as majestic as it could be, which, I kind of actually understand that. This eagle, he looks, in my opinion, a little underfed, if not a little bit like a hairless chicken. So I totally get that, but that is our honorable mention. And then coming in at number 1, we have the Reichspfennig coins. And that is related to Nazi Germany. So you'll see on the back here, they do have a swastika on the back of the coin, along with the eagle from the Nazi Germany era. It says the German Reich there on the top, and this is from 1941. They produced these coins in the 1930s and the 1940s up until basically the end of World War II. They have a 1, 5, and 10 Reichspfennig coins, and you can imagine exactly why this is controversial. Adolf Hitler was he's not looked at as a very good guy in history, so it's definitely something that causes a lot of people to stare whenever they see these coins and wonder, what your motives are whenever you have these coins. I have this coin just because of the fact that I love collecting World War II history. I love, American history and just learning about Germans, and I like learning from it. So I think it's a cool coin to have too. But that is our top 10 list. So I hope y'all really enjoyed that. Sorry if it went a little bit longer than I expected here. Usually my videos are a little bit shorter, but please tune in next time. I'll be creating a lot of videos similar to this, just ones that you get to learn about history and learn about values of different coins also. So with that being said, thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see y'all next time.